Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Carpe Diem Living, the podcast. I'm your host, Shane Gitmed, and today we have someone by the name of Leslie who is here to share her inspiring story, which I will say her story is what helped me jumpstart my healing journey. So I'm just so excited and so honored to have her on the show today. Leslie, tell us about you and wherever you want to start. Tell us about your journey.
Hi, well, thanks for having me. I mean, I love hearing that I was inspiring for you, so I'm hoping to be inspiring for other people as well. I guess I can just kind of start from the beginning of my story. So basically, I had like eczema and skin rashes and just tons of allergies, basically pretty much since I was born. I just kind of all through my young adulthood, I was on steroid creams and medications and basically went and saw like hundreds of different doctors, got blood tests done just to kind of figure out what was going on. I mean, I was told so many different things like, I have autoimmune disease, my body was attacking itself, and I was always going to be like this. I was always going to be on medications. And yeah, so I mean, even with eczema and all that, I also had really bad asthma. So it was also, in my lungs. I had really chronic sinus infections. So it was just kind of a mess, basically, growing up. I was basically on medications all the time and very dependent on that. And when I was in college, is kind of when everything kind of went crazy. Like my medications like just really weren't working anymore. I felt like, I got to a point where it was like either get on more intense medications and steroids or figure something else out. And I kind of wanted to go the other route with figuring it out naturally. Like I knew deep down, like this is not how people should live. Yeah. Like this wasn't normal. Like I just knew it. And so I kind of just like started doing my own research and diving in and figuring out like what I could do that could get me off these medications. Like I know I could, work with diet and food. So I kind of really explored in that area. I just was very up and down. Like I would, be doing really well. And then all of a sudden I would have flare-ups again. And it was just kind of so up and down, and emotionally it was very hard as well. Like I would kind of go through some depression and just, especially since I was younger, and that's when you like want to go out with friends, like meet people. And, it was always, I never knew when like a flare-up was going to happen. So it was like, I would, just kind of hibernate and, just become more antisocial. And it's sad. And I didn't want to live like that anymore. I kind of just took, my health into my own hands. And what I did was I like searched the hashtag eczema on Instagram and all these like things came up. I mean, I've never done that before. I don't know what even like got me to do that, but I was like, I'm going to see if there's other people out there that maybe are struggling like I am. So I did that, and that's kind of when I came across Anthony Williams in Medical Medium. And I didn't know who he was. I was like, oh no, this is probably just some other thing out there. Like, who knows?
Another fad.
So, yeah, exactly. So but it was weird because he had a radio show that I listened to, and it was really concentrated on eczema. And it was like the first time that anyone's ever really like talked about that and actually dove into like the root causes. Cause I didn't know the root causes. No one was telling me why I was feeling this way. Mm-hmm. So I mean, once I heard him say like the root causes, it kind of like a light bulb went off in my head. I was like, oh my gosh, like I connected with it so much that I was like, well, I'm going to try what he, his information and what he teaches. And so I kind of just like bought all his books. And at the time, really, when I first saw or met was introduced to him, he only had like one book out. So, and that was his first book. So I instantly bought that, and I just kind of dove right in and started reading his book, and it just kind of all clicked. And I like instantly changed my diet completely. So I went basically plant-based, and I was kind of more vegetarian anyway, so it wasn't that crazy like of a drastic change for me. And since I had so many food allergies, like I was already like couldn't eat like anything.
That's where I really connected with you, because I was like, usually when someone has eczema, they change their diet and they're good. But I was like, but a lot of the things that I'm hearing I need to eat, I'm allergic to. That's why I remember I messaged you. I was like, what did you do? Because I don't know what to do here.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy because when I got all like that blood work done and like them telling me, oh, like what you're allergic to, because when I was having all these allergic reactions, and it was like a laundry list. It was like so many things, like tomatoes, apples, soy, corn. I mean, it was just so much. And I was like, well, what am I going to eat?
Yep. Oh my God.
So yeah, I mean, it was crazy. So, I mean, I kind of just changed my diet and concentrated more on just like fruits and vegetables. And I didn't eat that many fruits before, because a lot of them, I was like more sensitive to, like strawberries and apples and stuff. So it was very different for me to, concentrate on that. I was kind of scared about it, but I kind of was just like, I have nothing to lose at this point. So yeah, I just kind of started eating more fruits and vegetables. And then I instantly started doing celery juice, which is, I know, one of the big things that Medical Medium talks about. And I didn't have a juicer at the time. I just used a blender and like strained it in like a nut milk bag, and just kind of did whatever I could at the time. And so I started doing that, and I just started like with a little bit and then kind of gradually add in more. And I would do it every morning on an empty stomach with nothing else. So it was just plain celery juice. And I kind of slowly was seeing like more like differences. I mean, my skin didn't clear up right away. It took a long time, but like my digestion was getting better, which I didn't have that many digestive issues before, but it was to a point where like I noticed I was actually feeling better. My stomach was not like less bloated. Now I was like going to the bathroom more regularly. So yeah, just like kind of little things like that were kind of happening, and it actually like my energy was kind of better. So I was like, oh, I'm going to keep doing this. So I just kept doing it. And, it was funny when I changed my diet and went plant-based, I said, I'm going to give this like a month. And then the next 2 months came and I was like, oh, I'm like feeling pretty good. So then like 3 months, and then now I'm at 3 years now. And, my skin it went up, basically like 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of cycle, I guess, with my skin. But now that I've kind of stayed on track and really like, stayed strong with this eating the way I do, my flare-ups are like way less than they were. My asthma is completely gone.
Nice.
So yeah, and I'm basically off all my medications now. And I just kind of heal through food and supplements and herbs, and it's like freedom, really.
Yes.
So yeah.
No, absolutely. Because I remember I mentioned this in another episode, that when you're going through all of these things and nothing's working and you feel like you're in this constant cycle, you feel like a prisoner in your own body. You're just kind of like, why can't I just eat normal? Why can't I just have regular skin? Like that depression you've talked about, I get it, because I've definitely felt that. Because for me, my flare-ups would happen on my hands. And so, I have a toddler at home. So like, it would be so painful, like, cause I would get the cuts, like, like it would be the flare-ups and then it would bust open, turn into a cut. And then it's kind of like this constant cycle. So, like washing my hands after giving him or changing his diaper or giving him baths would be painful.
Oh yeah. Showers were so painful.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I would like cut a lemon. And then if any, little bit of citrus got on my cut, it's like, oh my gosh. So I get what you mean. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely, you know, so much better than what it used to be, which, oh my gosh, it's like you said, it was like a prisoner in your own skin. And, you know, now that like I can go out and not have to put like makeup on, you know, and not to like hide, it's like, you
Yeah.
know, it's freeing. It really is. And, you know, it wasn't easy. It was, you know, and I'm still healing. Like I'm still in the process, and I think I will be for probably the rest of my life. You know, it's just that I don't think anyone's healed. You know, I think everyone's just on their own healing journey.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's just kind of my story. And you know, there's a lot more, I'm sure, but yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh. So with the celery juicing, okay, so I swear our stories are very similar, because when I first started juicing, I didn't technically have a juicer yet. I was using a Ninja blender that would extract, you too? And it would extract, and then I'd have to strain to get the juice out. So I remember like it would take a good amount of time just to get that 16 ounce that you need. And my parents were like, you know what? Like, we see how difficult it has been for you just to get 1 cup of juice. Let's make your life easier. And so they got me this one that works amazing. And it's just, I remember the first time I used it, I was like, oh my gosh, instant juice in a matter of not even 30 seconds.
It's like life changing.
Yeah. You're just like, why did I ever, like, it's like, I felt like I was almost like in the olden days when you're like having to milk for your own milk in the morning. Yeah. So yeah. So what juicer, so did you get the one that's horizontal?
Yeah, so I first had, so I've kind of gone through a couple different kinds. It's funny, once you juice like every day, you realize like how fast you can like go through different juicers. But I first had the Hurom, Hurom, which was my first juicer. And the only reason I got it is because it was on like Oprah's like top like 100 or something.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'll try it out. So I got that, and it was good, but it didn't last very long. Like I used it so often that it kind of saw its day, I guess.
Yeah.
But now I have the Omega, which is like the horizontal one, and I love that one so much. It's like one of my favorites. So, and it's really quiet. It's like not loud. It's really easy to clean. You know, because that's a big part of it. You're doing it every morning. It's like the pain of it is clean.
It's
true. Yeah. So, I mean, it's way easier using the Omega now. So I like it.
I think I'm finally going to gift myself that this year, because I was like, I've been using the other one, which it works great, but still like, the cleanup, you're just like, oh my gosh, it's like every morning. So I've been hearing a lot of great things about the Omega, so I'll definitely have to give that a shot.
You should, for sure.
So for your flare-ups, so now, thank God, you don't have the same flare-ups as before. So are you noticing, like everyone kind of has, like for me, my flare-ups happen when I'm really stressed out. Like that's when it really comes out. Like I'll give you an example. Last week, one of my dogs got to a really bad accident and my hands were cleared out. I had no flare-ups. And then as soon as like the cortisol was picking up in my body, boom, all came out again. And then once things calm down, it goes away. So like for you, do you notice like a cycle with yours, like when your flare-ups typically happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think like, you know, in the beginning when I was first, like 3 years ago, when I kind of first started doing all this, it was very stressful. I think just like the fact that like even thinking about having a flare-up was stressful for me. And, but now I think I know how to channel more of that stress. Like I, you know, do a lot of meditation and I, you know, do a lot of self-care stuff for myself in order to deal with that. Cause you know, it will bring on flare-ups, stress does for me. And I know that. So I know how now to trigger that stress in other ways versus like, oh, I'm gonna like freaking out. I'm going to have a flare-up, you know, cause it's not good to think that, you know? So, I kind of channel it that way now, I guess, than just like really worrying about, because even the thought about flaring up is stressful.
I've had really bad dreams where I imagined like my hands being all flared up again. I'm like, no. And I remember when I was from the very beginning of my healing journey with eczema, because my eczema, so it's funny actually, I just talked to my mom about this, and I guess I've had eczema flare-ups as a child that I didn't even know about. I guess when I was 2, I had eaten something and had like an allergy reaction to something. And then at one point I had a little bit of eczema, but the doctor said it was because of this, the weather, because it was winter, and I had like a little bit like right here on my inner arms. And then I had nothing up until a really big life event happened to me. And then it just caused a lot of stress, a lot. And then from then, my eczema has been one of those things where the flare-ups won't happen for a while, and then something will happen and it'll somewhat come. But I think it's good that when you have the knowledge and you kind of know how to treat it, you're not like, okay, I'm just gonna, like put a cream or whatever on it. So mine do the same thing, but the stress is what triggers mine the most. So I still need to get a handle on my cortisol.
Yeah. And I mean, I think like now, like knowing what foods too, like could help and can calm down my nerves and my stress as well. Like, if I'm like stressed out because I, just graduated from school. So like I was kind of stressed at the end, but like now I know the tools to help me like, deal with that stress. So my flare-ups aren't as bad as they were, just because like now I know it will heal. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to last forever. So I gotta keep like reminding myself that all the time. So yeah.
That's true. Cause like, I know if you're like just stressing about the flare-up itself, then it doesn't go away. So it is a lot of the mental piece to it, because I remember when I did have another flare-up like a while back, I was just like, oh man, another flare-up. But I'm like, oh, it'll go in a couple of days. And then slowly but surely it did, clear up. So it's like, that reminder to yourself really is important, which congratulations on, becoming a health coach.
Yeah.
So that's so exciting, because I mean, along with your story and, doing this, now you'll be able to really help more people, reach more people. So that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of, I guess, wanted to be a health coach. It kind of just like fell in my lap, I guess I could say. Like I was sharing my story, and I just wanted to help people by just sharing my story. And then people were kind of like contacting me, like asking questions and tips and whatever. And I felt like I needed more confidence in order to help them. So that's kind of why I decided to get my health coaching certificate. But basically also like, I wish I had somebody like to help me when I was going through the worst of things. And like, I just want to be that person to like help those people that are going through that. I mean, because that's just what I wish I had.
Yes.
There's just so much information out there, and just it's so confusing, and you just like feel hopeless and
you feel overwhelmed.
Yeah. So it's just nice to like be that person for people to, help them with their healing journey as well.
Yeah. No, it's so true, because I was running in circles for a good while. Like before Medical Medium, before finding you through Instagram, I was like, there's this one thing. Have you heard of eczema honey?
Yes.
Yes. So I tried, that was the first thing I tried, because when you grow up with Western medicine, so the way I always thought of it is like skin is skin. So like when you have something wrong with your skin, you just put a lotion or a cream or whatever, then that's going to heal it. That's, you don't think of the whole root mentality. Like I've had to, obviously remind myself that like throughout the journey. And now, like, since I believe in it so much, that's all I tell people. I'm like, oh, you have a skin issue? Do the juicing. Like, I definitely know. I'm just like, you got to check this out. But I remember trying eczema honey and getting so frustrated, because I'm like, it made it worse. Like,
it's funny because I tried it too.
Oh my gosh. And what did it do for you with your flare-ups?
I mean, I feel like it like helped calm it down for like maybe an hour, and then like the rest of the time it just kind of aggravated it even more. So yeah, yes. I mean, I didn't really use it after that couple times.
Right. Yeah. I like, at first I was like, finally I have an answer. Like I was like really optimistic about it, because I did hear great reviews, and then I tried it and I was like, didn't do anything.
I mean, and I don't think it's like a bad product. I think it's just my skin like needed to heal within instead of just putting something on top.
I agree.
Once my skin is healed, or I'm healing myself within, then I'd be able to probably use that product again, and it actually probably would do good things for your skin. Right. So
yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, not to bash on eczema honey at all, because I know some people have seen great results with it, but I think because of course all of our bodies are different, and obviously clearing out detoxing your liver, if you start to see results with that, that's when it's like, okay, that was always the problem, like from the start. So yeah, I remember I felt so disappointed when that didn't work out, because like honestly, when I was getting flare-ups, I was like, I don't know if this is psoriasis or eczema. I truly didn't know, because I had never dealt with this, in my adult life. And I remember going to my doctor and she's like, no, it's eczema. And they did prescribe a cream. So the funny part with me is my doctors gave me, a cream for the eczema. And then when my anxiety was really bad, they tried to give me an antidepressant. But when you have that gut feeling, like this is not supposed to go into your body at all. And this was before I really dove into, all the knowledge with holistic medicine. And I was just like, nope, yep, I'm so glad. So I had it in my pantry, and then I recently just like got rid of it, because I'm like, nope, like I'm never going to touch that or put that in my body at all. So thank goodness. Yeah. So how gratifying did it feel to toss out all the creams that you had?
Oh my gosh, you have no idea. It's funny because I think I had like one like little steroid cream like in my drawer like just only like a year ago. I don't know why I was holding on to it. I think it's just like that mental thing or something that, is just always something that I had to have like growing up and everything, like just always, it was like always
like
there.
A necessity,
Yeah. So now that it's like gone, it's like, oh my gosh, it's so literally freedom from like having to like deal with all those, and it's having to like depend on that. It's just amazing. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It truly is.
And then with the asthma, okay, so I have yet to talk to anyone that has healed their asthma. So was your asthma like you needed your rescue inhaler all the time, or?
Not necessarily. Like it really kind of affected me at night when I laid down. That was kind of when my chest got tight, and I would have to like kind of sit up when I slept, because it would just kind of be like a tightness in my chest. And then I would have like kind of like a wheezing effect. So I had that for a while, and it actually got worse even like during like seasonal allergies. Like I, have been allergic to pollen really bad. So like in the spring when things are blooming, and so my asthma would be like definitely more intense like during those times. And even in the winter, which is weird because I think it's like the dry heat on, inside your home and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's funny because after like it started healing, like I really like forgot about having asthma and dealing with that. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't had to like sit up and sleep. And like, I could like actually get through the night and sleeping. And it was just like a thing that just like happened with like everything else, like another symptom that was healed. And I don't use an inhaler anymore. I do now if I have to, which I haven't actually probably in a year, but I have like a natural salt inhaler. So it's like Himalayan salt, and you just put like peppermint essential oil in it. So if I need anything, that's kind of what my go-to. But yeah, I still don't use that nearly as much. So
yeah. It's funny because the other day I was going through my old stuff, and then I found 2 of my old rescue inhalers, and I was like, thank goodness I don't need these anymore. So throwing it away did feel like a release, because I was told, I think it was in middle school, that I had asthma because my PE teacher, so this is how I discovered it. My PE teacher, like we were running the mile, and she just noticed like I was just not able to keep up, and she was like, I think you have asthma, because she could see like I was like, my body was being overworked and I wasn't doing too much. Like it just didn't seem right. So then I go to my doctor and they're like, yep, you indeed have asthma. And they did like the breathing tests to see like what your levels are. And the lung capacity wasn't quite there.
You have to like breathe in that thing.
Yeah. And then I remember, so I was like, okay, so I just kind of dealt with it, had the inhaler. And then when I got older, I was almost diagnosed with sleep apnea, because what was happening in my sleep was I could sleep no matter like 8 hours, 9 hours, and still feels exhausted. Like it just never, but see, now looking back, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that had to do with adrenal fatigue, which was unheard of to me back then. I didn't know what that was. And so I know it was a combination between adrenal fatigue and then my sleep issues. Cause I guess I wasn't breathing well throughout my sleep. So I was like so I was just exhausted throughout the whole night and then waking up exhausted. So but that's all out of the picture too. Like now my breathing issues are gone. And now I know if I ever feel a tightness in my chest, it's because it's anxiety. It's not like I have, you know.
Yeah. Cause like, you know, when you have like those breathing issues, it brings on like kind of like a panic, or like you makes your anxiety worse. And, you know, that was another thing with me when I would sleep. Like I kind of like almost had like panic attacks. It was like so much pressure. It was like on my chest, I felt. So yeah, I mean, same thing with me though. Like I would wake up and I would be like completely exhausted, and I was like, why? I'm sleeping like 8 or 9 hours. What's going on? Yeah. So, I mean, it's just been amazing that I can like now sleep and feel good and refreshed and have energy the rest of the day.
Right. Like now, like your old normal is definitely like out the window. Cause I remember thinking for so long, like, I guess like I'm just not meant to sleep well. Like you just kind of in a sense give up because you try all these different things. Like I'm not seeing the results. Doctors are telling me this and that, but that's why for me, once I saw a naturopathic doctor, like it just finally, I felt like I had the real deal. Like I was like, I finally know what the heck has been going on with me for years. And even like with other guests I've spoken to, at some point you start to think like, is this all in my head? Like, why is all this stuff like, you know, constantly going on and on? But yeah, that's amazing that your asthma is like out, because I know I think, where did I hear this? Where they say like asthma and eczema, it's kind of linked or something. I don't know.
Which is crazy because I never knew that either. And it kind of like made me like, oh, well, that's why then I suffer with both of these things, because it is connected. I mean, I think everything is really connected when it comes down to it. You know, like with the digestion and all that as well. And like you said, adrenal fatigue. I mean, I think it's all like connected. So, I mean, if once we heal one thing, I think other things start to heal as well.
Yep. That's so true. That's so true. And I even made like, because I love lists. So I made a list for myself. I'm like, okay, I've solved this. Now where am I seeing the difference? Like I was almost running my own case study on myself, because I was like, well, no one's going to experiment this better than me, because I'm the one who knows, you know, how I'm feeling and I can observe myself day in and day out. So I think that's been like the best part, is like finally, you know, implementing new things into your lifestyle where you are seeing the results. So my gosh. So 3 years later, now that, you know, you've gone through all of these things, what, if you were to give someone advice that was in your spot, you know, years ago, what advice would you give them?
Okay. That's a tough one.
I know I threw you in there.
No, it's good. You know, I would tell them it's okay the way they're feeling. I mean, at first I would just say, you know, nothing's wrong with you. Like you're not broken. You will heal. You know, I wish someone told me that. I thought I was going to be the way I was forever. So just kind of starting off by saying that to somebody, you know, you will heal. It will happen. It just takes time and patience, dedication. I mean, you got to really want it too, you know, because it's not easy to get up every morning and make celery juice, to make, you know, heavy metal detox smoothies and liver rescue smoothies, and, you know, stay on track for your adrenals, like eating every couple hours with some food. And, you know, you gotta want it. You gotta want the change. And, you know, I was at a point where I didn't know what else to do and nowhere else to turn. And I didn't have a choice. Like it was either this or I didn't think I was going to be able to go on. So it was, you know, I was definitely like, I wanted the change. So I think just having that strength and dedication is very important to continue and to go this route. But just know that it like will happen. And it just, it takes time and patience.
No, it's true. It's so true. And I mean, thank goodness you looked up the hashtag eczema while you did, so you can find, you know, other people.
I mean, even the word eczema like made me cringe. I was like, I hate that word. So I mean, it was,
like I remember,
summary, I guess.
No, it's true. Because like I remember when I first, you know, I finally not owned it, but I accepted the fact that I had eczema, and it was really frustrating because, like I said, it just happened out of nowhere because of like stressors in my life. When people would ask me like, "What's going on with your hands?" It just was like, oh, like I have eczema. Like I just hated even saying it out loud. But you know, now that like, you know, the cycles come and go, and I'm just like, no big deal. It'll go away in a couple days or whatever. Now I'm just like, yeah, I have eczema, but that's okay. I'm healing from it. Like, I think that just shows how much you've healed if you can openly share and talk about it. So I give you a lot of props for sharing, your story from the beginning, because that takes a lot of, courage too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I think I was scared, like, for sure. And, I'm married, and my husband was like, you really need to, like, get your story out there. So he kind of, like, pushed me to do it. But once I did it, it kind of was like opened up so much, and it kind of like, took that weight off my shoulder, where like I can like really be me and like kind of just share who I am and not have to hide and be ashamed. And so it was scary, but I think anything we do in life, that's scary. I think, that's what makes us grow and change. And it's just kind of it was kind of like a real big step for me to kind of go in the direction I am now. So thank you.
Of course. Yeah. I think, all it takes is, just to get that little push, to give you, the courage and the confidence. And cause I mean, I know I couldn't have done what you did, posting pictures of my hands with a ton of like in a way I was almost hiding, because there was a time oh my gosh, I think the worst for me was when I would have flare-ups and it was summer. And I'm like, I can't cover this up.
The worst. Yeah.
It's all out there. And I remember someone, when the cuts were really bad, I would put Band-Aids. But at the point I was like, okay, I can't have a Band-Aid on every finger. Like, this looks ridiculous, So I was luckily, like, I've always worked from home. So I'm like, well, no one can see this unless I go out and, like, it's like I can hide in my own way. But yeah, I think, a lot more people could really be inspired by what you've shared over the years, and will have the confidence to just get their healing journey started. Now that you're a health coach, you can help so many more people. So I'm so excited for you and how all the lives you're going to touch.
I hope so. Yeah,
absolutely. So where can our listeners, connect with you, learn from you? Because I mean, I can't stress this enough to everyone that's listening to this. Like, Leslie is the person you need to go to when it comes to this stuff. Like, telling you.
Thank you. Yes. I mean, I've basically tried every product and everything out there. So I know a lot when it comes to eczema.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, like hiding, like I was just going to say, like, I would want to wear a turtleneck like in the summer, because like I had it on my neck, and I wanted to wear scarves, and like I couldn't be like that person in the summertime wearing a scarf. So I get that for sure. But people can reach me, my website. So my health coaching business is called Vital Vibe Tribe. And I kind of just created that name just to I want to create like a community, a tribe of people that can come and just like feel safe and comfortable, and like they can open up and be themselves and just kind of start their healing journey, and just me to kind of like lead them and guide them in what kind of direction to go for their specific needs. So you can reach me. You can find me on my website, vitalvibetribe.com, or you can also check me out on Instagram, which is also Vital Vibe Tribe. And I do a lot of stories and recipes and stuff on there as well. So those are kind of my two main things. And you can also go to my website and sign up for like a free consultation. I'm doing free consultations right now. So
Oh, wonderful. And that's one thing I haven't done, was try the different recipes. So now that I'm all settled in, because it's just been crazy on my end in general, I definitely want to cook up some of your recipes to see, because I haven't gone completely plant-based, but I would say I'm about 75% there.
Hey, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah. Eventually I would like to take the full leap, especially now I have no excuse. All my insensitivities are done. So it's like, well, what's holding me back now?
I mean, there's always things that all of us could be doing more, but one little step at a time, that's all it takes. So
yeah. As long as you get started.
Exactly. For sure.
Well, thank you so much again for coming onto the show today. I'm so happy that you came, and I'm so excited for everyone that's, going to check out your page and learn from you. So we'll catch you all next time, and thank you all again for listening.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.